Dr. Max Carter was having a day. The sun blazed down on the dusty archaeological site in the middle of nowhere, which was usually a bad sign for any fieldwork, but Max had a knack for turning bad signs into good stories. Today, however, the only story brewing was one of heatstroke and indecision. He squinted against the sun, his tattered fedora perched at a precarious angle, and surveyed the crumbling ruins of what he optimistically called the next big archaeological find. The locals just called it that pile of rocks. Max. Over here. Zoe, his ever-enthusiastic assistant, waved from a shaded area where the team had set up camp. She was young, bright-eyed, and had a smile that could outshine the sun, especially on days like this when it was fighting hard to do its job. Max trudged over, boots crunching on gravel, half expecting her to reveal yet another broken pottery shard or something equally underwhelming. "I think I found something," Zoe exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement. "And it's not just another ancient coffee mug." Max approached, his heart racing. He loved a good discovery, even if it was likely just an old stone. But as he rounded the corner, his breath caught in his throat. There it was, a massive stone structure, unlike anything he had seen in his years of digging. It was intricately carved with swirling patterns that seemed to pulse under the sunlight, almost like it was alive. "Is that a sundial?" he joked, eyeing it skeptically, "more like an ancient intergalactic message board." Zoe laughed, her eyes shining with the thrill of possibility. As they began to examine it, Colonel Harris, the military liaison who had been assigned to keep an eye on the archaeologists, and keep the government from getting too nervous, strode over with his arms crossed. He was a no-nonsense guy, his uniform starched and pristine even in the heat. "What have you two found?" "I hope it's something we can use," he said, the skepticism oozing from every word. Max shrugged, adopting his best casual posture. "Just a sundial, Colonel. Maybe the ancient inhabitants were really into telling time." Zoe chuckled, nudging Max. "Yeah, they probably had a great social life, always knowing when to meet." Colonel Harris's frown deepened. "Let me know when you find something of actual significance." With that, he turned on his heel, probably off to check on some more pressing matters, like polishing his medals. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting an orange glow over the landscape, Max and Zoe set to work. They cleaned the stone, revealing more of its patterns and inscriptions. Max started to take notes, flipping through his weathered notebook, when suddenly, without warning, the stone began to hum. The ground shook, and the air crackled with energy. "What the?" Max stumbled back, eyes wide. "Did you break it?" Zoe asked, half joking but visibly anxious. Before they could process what was happening, the stone erupted in a dazzling display of lights, projecting a holographic image into the air. It was a figure, tall, slender, and decidedly not human. The alien spoke in a deep, resonating voice that echoed around them. "Warning, invasion imminent. Prepare your defenses." Max's jaw dropped. "Well, that's not what I expected to find today." Zoe's eyes were as big as saucers. "Should we, contact someone? Like the Avengers?" As the holographic figure continued its ominous message, Colonel Harris reappeared, his face paling. "What is going on here?" he demanded, taking in the glowing display. "Just a little welcome message from our new alien overlords," Max said, unable to suppress a grin. "You know, the usual." "Shut it down." Harris barked, but the artifact seemed to have a mind of its own. The projection intensified, showing scenes of destruction, cities in flames, people running in panic, and ships descending from the sky. "Okay, that's definitely not good," Max said, heart racing. We need to figure out what this is and fast. The team went into overdrive, gathering tools, data pads, and whatever else they could find. Max's mind raced with possibilities. This was it, the find of a lifetime. But instead of fame, it felt like they were heading toward disaster. They were archaeologists, not soldiers. They didn't even have a proper plan. What were they supposed to do? Start a Kickstarter for an alien defense fund? Max, we have to tell someone, Zoe urged, biting her lip. If they're really coming, Max nodded, his mind churning. Right, but who do we trust? The government? They'll just want to weaponize it. We need to understand what this is first. It could be a key to stopping them. As the team scrambled to gather data, the tension was palpable. Days passed in a blur of frantic research and awkward military briefings. Colonel Harris didn't appreciate their more unconventional methods. This isn't a game, Carter, he snapped during one particularly heated discussion. You're not just digging for trinkets here. Max shot back, and I'm not just going to turn this into some military operation. This is our discovery, and we have to figure it out. Eventually, the group unearthed some hidden controls within the artifact, each button more intimidating than the last. What if we accidentally call the aliens instead of stopping them? Zoe joked nervously as Max read the instructions, none of which were in English. Well, at least we'll go down in history, Max replied, winking. Their antics reached a crescendo when they finally activated a holographic map, revealing hidden alien installations across the globe. They've been here for centuries, Zoe breathed, pointing at the display. And they're just waiting for the right moment to strike. Great, Max said. It's like finding out the universe's worst-kept secret. But amidst the chaos, he felt a flicker of excitement. This was bigger than he'd ever dreamed, but then things took a turn for the absurd. While attempting to access more of the artifact's data, Max accidentally triggered a holographic projection of an alien training manual. The room filled with images of aliens doing exercises, balancing on one leg, and practicing their best, menacing looks. The team erupted in laughter, breaking the tension. Maybe they're not so tough after all, Max chuckled. They're just really bad at yoga. But beneath the laughter, the weight of the impending invasion loomed large. They had mere weeks to prepare, and Max knew they had to find a way to leverage the artifact's secrets into a defense mechanism. The days turned into a whirlwind of frantic planning, late-night strategy sessions, and hilariously awkward attempts to communicate with the aliens via their still-functioning holographic interface. It was during one of these late-night brainstorming sessions that they stumbled upon a pivotal discovery. Dr. Raj Patel, the quiet genius of their team, had finally cracked a piece of the alien code. If we can integrate this technology with our own, he said, excitement creeping into his voice, we might create a countermeasure. Max couldn't contain his grin. You mean to say we could have our own alien tech? This is like Christmas. But just as they began to formulate their plan, the atmosphere shifted. They learned through the artifact's readings that the alien fleet was mobilizing. The countdown to invasion had begun, and they were running out of time. Max, Zoe, and Raj rallied their team, each member contributing their strengths. Max had the ideas, Zoe had the energy, and Raj had the brains. But they needed more than just enthusiasm, they needed a solid plan. They decided to use the alien training manual to their advantage, turning it into a crash course on alien tactics. Max was sure that if they could anticipate the aliens' moves, they might just stand a chance. As the invasion date loomed closer, Max and his team faced their most significant challenge yet: a group of alien scouts had arrived to assess the situation. The sight of the sleek, ominous ships in the sky sent a wave of dread through the team. "Okay, folks, time to put our training to the test," Mech said, trying to muster a bravado he didn't quite feel. "We've got to show them that Earth isn't just a bunch of sitting ducks. More like a bunch of sitting dodos," Zoe quipped, which earned a snort of laughter from Raj. They devised a plan to use the alien artifact to create a pulse that would disrupt the scout ship systems long enough to give them time to gather intel. It was risky, and Max couldn't help but feel a flutter of nerves. But as they prepped, he caught Zoe's eye, and they exchanged a determined nod. This was it. They were going to fight for their home when the time came. The team set the plan into motion. Max, wearing a makeshift suit they'd cobbled together from the artifact's technology and some military gear, stood at the forefront. "Let's show them what Earth can do," he shouted, and with that, the pulse was activated. A brilliant flash lit up the sky, and the alien scouts faltered. They scrambled in confusion as the pulse disrupted their systems. Max watched in awe as his plan worked. Briefly, "Now get the data," he yelled, sending Zoe and Raj into action. The chaotic scene erupted into a mix of laughter and shouts, the absurdity of the situation heightening the tension. Max couldn't help but feel a rush of exhilaration. They were actually fighting back. As they hacked into the scout systems, a flurry of information flooded in. They discovered not just the location of the main alien fleet but also a weakness in their technology, a chance to exploit it. Who knew aliens were so predictable? Raj said, grinning as he downloaded the data, but just as they celebrated, a larger alien ship appeared in the sky, its ominous silhouette blotting out the sun. We may have alerted them," Zoe said, pointing upward, panic rising in her voice. "Time to go." Max shouted, rallying his team. They dashed back to their base, the alien ship hovering ominously overhead. The stakes had never felt higher. In the chaos that followed, they made a last-minute decision to deploy the alien technology they had harnessed to create a powerful defense mechanism. As they worked furiously to put everything together, Max felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. With a sudden crash, the alien ship descended, and the team braced themselves. The world felt like it was teetering on the edge of something monumental. But as Max activated the device, a pulse surged from the artifact, and the ship trembled, its systems failing. "Yes!" Max cheered, the absurdity of the situation flooding him with a rush of adrenaline. "We did it!" But just as quickly, they realized that the fight was far from over. The alien fleet was still approaching, and the countdown to the invasion was ticking down fast. They needed to do more than just defend. They had to launch a counteroffensive. With the data they had acquired, they worked tirelessly to create a weapon that could turn the tide. It was a chaotic mix of alien tech and earthly ingenuity, and they laughed and shouted as they pushed each other to the limit. It was all hands on deck, and every idea was met with enthusiasm. As the alien ships began their assault, Max and his team launched their counterattack. They aimed the weapon at the incoming fleet, and the pulse surged, sending a wave of energy across the sky. The first ship faltered, then exploded into a dazzling display of light, followed by a chain reaction that set off a spectacular cosmic fireworks show. "Take that!" Max hollered, his laughter echoing in the chaos. They were winning, but they were also doing it in a way that felt entirely absurd, like a bizarre dream where the unlikely heroes were outsmarting their oppressors. As the battle raged on, they continued to innovate and adapt, using the alien technology against its creators. Max felt a sense of camaraderie growing between them. This ragtag team of archaeologists, scientists, and military personnel was proving that brains, humor, and a dash of chaos could make a formidable force. With every ship they disabled, the morale soared. Max couldn't believe how far they'd come, from a group of researchers uncovering ancient ruins to defenders of Earth facing an extraterrestrial invasion. It felt like something out of a bad sci-fi movie, but they were living it, finally, as the last of the alien ships spiraled out of control, crashing into the desert. Max and his team cheered. They had done it. They had not only survived but fought back against the invaders with an uncanny blend of ingenuity and a touch of chaos. As the dust settled and the last remnants of the alien force disappeared, the team stood together, breathless and exhilarated. Colonel Harris, his stern demeanor softened by disbelief, shook Max's hand. "I have to admit, Carter, you surprised me." Max laughed, a wave of relief washing over him. "Just another day in archaeology, right?" Zoe nudged him playfully. "More like a day in absurdity." But as they reveled in their victory, the holographic artifact flickered back to life, a new message illuminating the night. "Warning, other species are now aware of your capabilities. Prepare for further encounters." Max and his team exchanged glances, a mixture of excitement and apprehension brewing. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over. And if aliens were really watching, they might just have more adventures ahead of them. "Looks like we're not done yet," Max said, his heart racing with anticipation. "But let's make sure we have some snacks this time. Fighting aliens is hard work." Laughter erupted among them, and as they turned back to their makeshift base, the night was filled with a newfound sense of hope and camaraderie. They were more than just a team, they were a family, ready to face whatever the universe threw their way. And as the stars twinkled above, Max couldn't help but think that perhaps this was just the beginning of a wild and wondrous journey, one that would forever change their lives and the fate of Earth. The following weeks brought a whirlwind of media attention, government inquiries, and plenty of unintended consequences. Max found himself at the center of it all, his phone ringing off the hook, journalists clamoring for interviews, and scientists eager to study the artifact. It was a bizarre twist for an archaeologist who had always preferred digging in the dirt to dealing with the limelight. "Max, you've become an overnight sensation," Zoe said one afternoon, watching as another reporter tried to squeeze through the throng at their dig site. "You should give a TED talk or something." "Yeah, about how to accidentally save the world," Max quipped, rolling his eyes as he fended off a microphone thrust too close to his face. "Sorry, folks, no comments on my latest alien encounter. Just here to look for ancient coffee mugs." While the attention was overwhelming, it also felt surreal. Max had gone from being a nobody in the archaeology community to a reluctant celebrity. As he settled into this new reality, he realized he had a responsibility. The world needed to know about the potential threats lurking in the cosmos, and he was in a unique position to educate people about it. "So, what's next?" Raj asked during a quieter moment, flipping through some notes. "Are we going to focus on improving defenses? Or maybe even explore those hidden alien bases we discovered?" Max rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "We need to understand the bigger picture. The alien artifacts, the knowledge we gained, there's so much more we could learn. I mean, we just barely scratched the surface. But we're still researchers, right? We should dig." Zoe chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. "There could be more tech out there that we could use." Max nodded, feeling inspired. "Let's organize an expedition. We can gather more data, and this time, we'll be better prepared. We'll bring snacks, too, no more of this last-minute chaos." The team sprang into action, diving into preparations for their next adventure. They had a wealth of data to analyze, and the prospect of uncovering more alien secrets filled the air with excitement. They were ready for the challenge, united by a sense of purpose and adventure. As they set out to explore the newly identified alien installations, Max felt a thrill of anticipation. They were about to embark on a journey that could redefine their understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Weeks passed in a blur of digging, scanning, and deciphering alien technology. The team worked tirelessly, each member contributing their unique skills. Max had never felt so alive, his spirit fueled by the promise of discovery and the thrill of collaboration. One evening, after a long day of research, the team gathered around a makeshift campfire under the stars. The sky was a canvas of twinkling lights, and laughter echoed in the air. It was a moment of reprieve from the chaos of the outside world. "I still can't believe we fought off an alien invasion," Zoe said, poking the fire. "It sounds like a movie plot." Max chuckled. "I always thought archaeology would be more peaceful. But I guess you never know when an alien will crash the party." Raj raised his cup. "To the unexpected. May we always find adventure, even in the most mundane digs." The night wore on, filled with stories, laughter, and the shared understanding that they had forged something special together. They were no longer just a team, they were a family bound by shared experiences and a common mission. As the expedition continued, they made remarkable discoveries: advanced alien technology, remnants of ancient civilizations, and clues that hinted at the aliens' true intentions. With each find, they grew more determined to understand the cosmic puzzle they were part of. But the universe had a way of keeping them on their toes. One day, as they unearthed another artifact, the air crackled with energy, and the artifact began to hum ominously. The team exchanged nervous glances, the thrill of discovery quickly morphing into anxiety. Is it supposed to do that?" Zoe asked, stepping back. Max cautiously approached the artifact, feeling the vibrations in the air. "I don't know, but it's definitely different from the last one." Suddenly, the artifact projected a holographic image, a map showing multiple alien ships heading toward Earth. Panic surged through the group. "They're coming back!" Raj exclaimed, his eyes wide. "Okay, team," Max said, rallying them. "We've faced this before. Let's use everything we've learned." They quickly devised a plan to counter the impending threat. Max led the team in activating their defense systems, ready to implement their newfound knowledge. They were no longer just archaeologists, they were warriors defending their home. As the alien ships descended, Max's heart raced. "This time, we're ready," he shouted, a mix of determination and excitement surging through him. The ensuing battle was a chaotic dance of technology and tactics, each member of the team playing a crucial role. Max, Zoe, and Raj coordinated their efforts, using the alien tech they had salvaged to create a formidable defense. "Watch your six!" Zoe yelled, dodging incoming fire as she aimed their weaponry with precision, releasing pulse now. Raj called out, activating the defense system with a determined flick of his wrist. With each pulse, they fought back, and the tide began to turn. The team's laughter and shouts mixed with the chaos, creating a strange sense of camaraderie amidst the battle. As the dust settled and the last alien ship was downed, the team erupted in cheers. They had faced their fears and emerged victorious once again. Max looked around at his friends. This ragtag team of archaeologists, scientists, and military personnel had become something far greater than he could have ever imagined. Who knew digging for ancient coffee mugs could lead to fighting off alien invasions? Max said, beaming with pride. Zoe grinned, her energy contagious. "I think we've set a new standard for archaeology." With each passing day, they continued to uncover more secrets, preparing for whatever the universe had in store for them. The world was changing, and they were right in the thick of it. Max couldn't help but feel a sense of purpose, knowing that their adventures were only just beginning, and as they gathered around the campfire once more, the stars twinkling above, Max realized that their story was one of resilience, humor, and the power of teamwork. They were explorers, warriors, and friends, ready to face the unknown, armed with laughter and an unbreakable bond. Here's to us. Max raised his cup, his heart full. May we always find adventure, no matter how alien it may be. With cheers echoing into the night, the team embraced the journey ahead, ready to explore the mysteries of the universe, armed with wit, determination, and an unyielding spirit. Max felt a surge of optimism as they gathered around the fire, but he also knew the universe had a way of keeping them on their toes. The team had successfully fought off an alien invasion twice, but the specter of further attacks loomed over them like a dark cloud. They were beginning to establish themselves as defenders of Earth, but the weight of responsibility settled heavily on their shoulders. Next time, we need to up our game, Max said, leaning forward with a determined glint in his eye. We've already encountered 2 different alien factions. Who knows how many more are out there? Zoe, her expression a mix of excitement and worry, nodded. We've got the artifact, and we've learned a lot. But we need to figure out how to communicate better with other species, not just defend ourselves. Right, Raj added, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. If we can establish some kind of dialogue, maybe we could avoid future confrontations. We've got to figure out what they want. Max took a deep breath, considering their options. What if we used the holographic interface from the artifact to send out a message? Something inviting, like a galactic peace summit? Zoe raised an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. You mean, like an intergalactic potluck? Raj chuckled. I can see the aliens now. What do you bring to the peace summit? I've got a delicious asteroid stew. Laughter erupted around the fire, easing the tension that had built up during the battles. Max appreciated how their humor kept the atmosphere light, even as they prepared for the unknown. I think it could work, he said, regaining focus. We'll need to craft a message that emphasizes our desire for peace and cooperation. But we should also prepare for the possibility that they might not take it seriously. So, we put together a backup plan, Zoe suggested, her enthusiasm returning. We can have our defenses ready, just in case. Exactly, Max replied, feeling the team's energy shift back to determination. Let's get to work. The following days were a whirlwind of brainstorming sessions and strategic planning. They gathered data from the alien artifacts they had unearthed, attempting to decode more of the alien language. It was a challenge, but the team's collective intellect and creativity shone through. Max and Zoe spent late nights poring over the holographic interface, attempting to craft a message that would resonate with any intelligent life that might be listening. They even included a few friendly emojis, just for good measure. Maybe an alien emoji will help convey our goodwill? Max suggested, grinning. You mean, like a little green guy with a peace sign? Zoe laughed, sketching out ideas. Once they were satisfied with their message, they prepared to send it out. The anticipation was palpable as they gathered in front of the artifact, which now pulsed gently with energy. Max's heart raced as he initiated the sequence. The air crackled with electricity, and the holographic display flickered to life, showing their carefully crafted message projected into the void of space. Here goes nothing, Max said, pressing the final button. A beam of light shot into the sky, carrying their message across the stars. The team stood in silence, watching the light fade into the cosmos. Now we wait, Raj said, his voice a mix of hope and anxiety. Days turned into weeks, and life settled into a rhythm. They continued their research, digging deeper into the alien artifacts while maintaining a watchful eye for any signs of incoming ships. Max found solace in the routine, but there was always a lingering sense of urgency. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was on the horizon. Then, one evening, as they gathered around the fire after a long day of work, the artifact began to hum softly. Max's heart raced as he looked at Zoe and Raj, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and concern. "Do you think it's them?" Zoe asked, her eyes wide. "Only one way to find out," Max said, rising to approach the artifact. As he got closer, the hum grew louder, and the holographic interface lit up, displaying a flurry of images. At first, they were abstract, but then they coalesced into a recognizable shape, a starship, sleek and elegant, descending toward their location. "Holy moly," Raj breathed, staring at the display. "They actually received our message." Max felt a mix of anxiety and exhilaration. "This is it. We've got to be ready." The ship landed a short distance from their camp, its presence both majestic and intimidating. The team gathered, standing shoulder to shoulder as they faced the unknown. Max felt his pulse quicken as the ramp of the ship lowered, and a figure emerged. It was tall and humanoid, but with distinct alien features, skin that shimmered like liquid metal, large, expressive eyes, and an air of authority. The alien stepped forward, raising a hand in a gesture of peace. "Greetings, Earth beings," it said, its voice melodic yet firm. "I am Ambassador Kither from the Star Federation. We received your message and have come to discuss matters of mutual interest." Max felt a rush of relief mixed with excitement. "Thank you for coming, Ambassador Kither. We were hoping to speak with you about potential cooperation between our species." Kither nodded, a gesture that seemed to convey understanding. "We have observed your recent encounters and the resilience you have shown. It is rare for a species to unite so quickly in the face of adversity. We seek to establish a dialogue, to prevent future conflicts." Max took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "We would like to learn from each other. There's so much we can accomplish together." The ambassador's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Indeed. But first, we must address the motivations of those who attacked you. They are not of our Federation, and their actions are a result of long-standing grievances." "Grievances?" Zoe asked, tilting her head. "What kind of grievances?" Kither's expression grew serious. "The attackers are part of a rogue faction that believes in domination rather than cooperation. They perceive Earth as a threat because of your recent advances in technology. This misunderstanding could lead to more violence." Max exchanged worried glances with Zoe and Raj. "So, if we don't show our intentions clearly, they might come back for a third time?" "Precisely," Kither replied. "But we can help you. Our Federation has resources and technology that could assist in your defense, as well as educational exchanges to foster understanding." The promise of collaboration filled Max with hope. What would that look like? "We want to ensure peace, but we also need to be prepared." Kither gestured toward the ship. "Come, let us discuss this further. I believe you will find our technology enlightening." As they followed the ambassador into the ship, Max couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the brink of a new era for humanity. This wasn't just about defending against threats anymore, it was about forging alliances, about becoming part of something much larger than themselves. Inside the ship, they were greeted with a stunning array of advanced technology. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing maps of the galaxy, advanced weaponry, and educational programs designed to share knowledge between species. Max felt a thrill of excitement wash over him. This was a glimpse of the future. Kither began to explain the intricacies of their technology, weaving stories of distant worlds and civilizations. The team listened intently, their earlier fears slowly replaced by a sense of wonder. If we can establish a training program, Raj suggested, we could learn how to communicate better and develop a shared understanding of our cultures. An excellent idea, Kither replied. We have much to teach, and much to learn in return. As discussions deepened, Max found himself envisioning a collaborative effort that could change the trajectory of humanity. He could see students from Earth learning about alien cultures, sharing their own, and building bridges that would ensure peace for generations to come. Days turned into weeks as they worked alongside Kither and the Star Federation. They trained together, sharing knowledge and expertise, learning about alien technologies while teaching their own history and culture. Max felt a sense of fulfillment he had never experienced before. The artifact that had sparked this entire journey now served as a symbol of unity, bridging the gap between two worlds. They used it to enhance their communication systems, ensuring that all parties could stay in touch and work together effectively. But the rogue faction still loomed over them like a shadow, and Max knew that they couldn't fully relax until a plan was in place to deal with the potential threat. The ambassador and the team formulated a strategy, incorporating defenses while also reaching out to other civilizations to bolster their collective strength. We need to send a message, Kither explained one evening, the stars twinkling through the ship's viewing port. A show of unity against those who would disrupt peace. Max felt a rush of determination. We could host a summit, gather representatives from different species, make it clear that we stand together. With Kither's assistance, they set to work organizing the summit. It would be held in a neutral location, with invitations sent to various factions, including the rogue faction. The goal was simple: to open lines of communication and seek a peaceful resolution. As the date approached, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. Max, Zoe, and Raj worked tirelessly, ensuring everything was in place for their first intergalactic summit. They wanted it to be a success, a turning point that would define the future of Earth's relationships with other species. Finally, the day arrived. Representatives from various species, each more unique than the last, arrived at the summit location, a vast space station orbiting Earth. The diversity of the attendees was astounding, and Max felt a swell of pride as he surveyed the gathering. Welcome, everyone, he began, standing at the podium. Today marks a new beginning for all of us. We are here to forge a path of cooperation and understanding, to ensure that our worlds can coexist in harmony. The room buzzed with energy, and Kither stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. Together, we can create a future free from fear and misunderstanding. We have the power to choose peace. As discussions unfolded, the atmosphere shifted from tension to collaboration. Ideas flowed freely, and delegates shared their visions for a united front against aggression. Max watched as connections were formed, alliances built, and common ground discovered. Then, in a surprising turn of events, a representative from the rogue faction stood to speak. The being was tall and imposing, with an air of authority. We were sent here to negotiate, but we do not seek peace. We have watched as you grow stronger, and we will not allow it to continue. Gasps echoed through the room, but Max stood his ground, feeling a surge of confidence. If you seek war, you will find only resistance. But if you choose to communicate, we can work together. We can find common ground. The representative hesitated, the tension in the room thick. Kither took a step forward, his voice calm yet firm. We extend an invitation to you. Join us in dialogue, or face the consequences of your actions. For a moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, the representative nodded. We will consider your offer. But make no mistake, we will not back down easily. As the summit progressed, Max felt a flicker of hope. They had opened the door to dialogue, and that was a victory in itself. With Kither's support, they established a coalition, laying the groundwork for continued cooperation. The event concluded with a shared meal, a feast that celebrated their newfound alliances. As they shared stories and laughter, Max realized how far they had come. They were no longer just archaeologists, they were ambassadors of Earth, forging connections across the stars. After the summit, life took on a new rhythm. The team continued their research and training, strengthening the bonds they had formed. They were more than a team, they had become a family, united by their shared experiences and aspirations, but Max also knew they had to remain vigilant. The rogue faction was still out there, and the threat wasn't over. They began preparing for potential conflicts, honing their defenses while fostering communication. One evening, as they gathered to review their plans, Zoe's eyes sparkled with excitement. What if we invited more species to join our coalition? The more we unite, the stronger we'll be. Raj nodded enthusiastically. That's a brilliant idea. We should reach out to those who might share our goals. Max felt invigorated by the idea. Let's make it happen. We can send out more messages and gather support. With renewed determination, they crafted messages to neighboring species, inviting them to join their coalition. They emphasized the importance of collaboration in the face of adversity, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. More and more species expressed interest in joining their cause. As the coalition grew, so did their strength. Max and his team worked tirelessly to integrate new members, ensuring that everyone felt valued and heard. They organized training sessions and educational exchanges, fostering a spirit of unity. Yet, despite their efforts, whispers of dissent continued to surface. The rogue faction remained a thorn in their side, and tensions simmered beneath the surface. Then, one fateful day, as they were reviewing defense protocols, an alarm blared through the facility. Max's heart sank as he rushed to the control room, where Raj and Zoe were already monitoring the situation. It's the rogue faction. Raj exclaimed, pointing at the screen. They're mobilizing. They're planning an attack. Max felt a chill run down his spine. We need to prepare our defenses. Now. As the team scrambled to respond, Kither joined them, his expression grave. We must show them that we are united. This is our moment to prove our strength. Max rallied the team, their adrenaline pumping as they coordinated their defense efforts. They set up barriers and activated their advanced technology, ready to confront the impending threat. The moment the ships appeared on the horizon, a mix of fear and determination surged through Max. They had come too far to back down now. Let's show them what we're made of. The battle that ensued was intense and chaotic. Alien ships darted through the sky, exchanging fire with the coalition's forces. Max and his team worked tirelessly, implementing their defenses while trying to strategize against the attackers, focus on their lead ship. Zoe shouted, her voice ringing out over the chaos. We need to take down their command structure. Raj activated the weapon systems, sending a pulse toward the lead ship. Max watched as their plan unfolded, the pulse hitting the ship and causing it to falter. Keep the pressure on. Max yelled, adrenaline surging through him. They worked together seamlessly, their bond and shared experiences fueling their resolve. As the battle raged on, Max couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration. They were no longer just archaeologists, they were warriors, fighting for their home and their newfound allies. Each pulse they sent out was a testament to their resilience, their determination to protect what they had built. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the tide began to turn. The coalition's forces coordinated their attacks, and the rogue faction's ships began to falter. One by one, they were taken down, and a wave of relief washed over Mechs. "We're doing it!" Raj shouted, his voice filled with disbelief, but just as they thought victory was within reach, a massive ship emerged from the darkness, larger and more menacing than anything they had faced before. The rogue faction's secret weapon. Mechs felt his heart drop. "What is that thing?" Kither's expression hardened. "That is their flagship. If we don't take it down, they will decimate our forces." With renewed urgency, Mechs and the team strategized a final assault. They would need to work together, combining their technology and skills to overcome this new threat. As they prepared for the final push, Mechs felt a surge of determination. "We've come too far to let fear dictate our actions. We fight for each other, for our families, and for the future of our worlds." The team rallied around him, their spirits ignited by the shared purpose. They launched their final offensive, coordinating their efforts with precision and determination. The battle raged on, their ships weaving through enemy fire, each member of the team playing a crucial role. Mechs found himself in a rhythm, shouting commands and strategizing as they fought for their lives. Finally, with one last pulse, they targeted the flagship's core. The energy surged, and the ship trembled. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Then, with a deafening explosion, the flagship erupted in a blaze of light, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. Cheers erupted among the coalition forces as they witnessed the downfall of their greatest adversary. Mechs felt a rush of exhilaration and relief wash over him. They had done it. They had not only survived but thrived in the face of adversity. As the last remnants of the rogue faction scattered into the void, the coalition stood together, united in victory. With the threat diminished, they turned their attention to rebuilding and fostering the relationships they had formed. The coalition was stronger than ever, and they began to work on initiatives that would ensure peace for generations to come. In the weeks that followed, Mechs and his team continued to explore and expand their knowledge, diving into research and cultural exchanges. They celebrated their victory, but they also recognized that their journey was far from over. One evening, as they gathered around the fire once more, Zoe's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We've done it. We've forged alliances and faced down an invasion. What's next for us?" Mechs smiled, feeling a sense of purpose wash over him. "Next, we continue to explore. We have a universe full of mysteries waiting for us. And we do it together, as a team." As the stars twinkled above, Mechs realized that this was only the beginning of their adventure. They were no longer just archaeologists, they were explorers, ambassadors, and protectors of Earth, ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. And as they shared stories and laughter under the vast expanse of the cosmos, Mechs couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging. They were family now, bound together by their shared experiences, ready to embark on the next chapter of their extraordinary journey. This was just the beginning.